Welcome to the True Assassins podcast.
Yeah.
And, listeners sent in some really fascinating stories.
Oh, cool.
From True Kill by Orlando Madsbrine.
Okay.
And, they're both about assassins, obviously. But these are individuals driven to assassination by forces that feel almost
supernatural.
And today, that's exactly where we're diving in.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to look at what makes them tick.
Sure.
And what these extraordinary circumstances tell us.
Right. Well, I think what grabs you right away is the contrast in their motivations.
Okay.
We have one who's dealing with this physical manifestation of his inner darkness. It's tangible.
It's right there. You can see it.
Yeah.
And then you have another who's burdened with it's an internal this terrifying vision of
what's to come.
What's to come.
Yeah.
So let's start with Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray.
But not the one you might be thinking of.
Okay.
From classic literature.
Got it.
This Dorian from True Kill is a centuries-old assassin.
Wow.
And he's eternally youthful.
Right.
But he hides a chilling secret.
Oh.
Tied to a
hidden portrait.
A hidden portrait. We're going to look at how this portrait acts as a record of his deadly acts.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful concept.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine that. Imagine that there's an external representation of your conscience that is bearing the weight of your moral failings while you remain outwardly untouched.
Yeah. I mean, for you as you navigate the choices that you make in your life, it's a reminder that even unseen actions leave a mark somewhere.
Yeah, they do. And then we shift to Pandora.
Okay.
A reimagining of this mythical figure.
Right.
In True Kill, she's an assassin. But haunted by apocalyptic visions.
Yeah.
But instead of just passively unleashing chaos.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like the myth.
Yeah.
She's actively fighting against a future that she's cursed to witness.
That she sees.
And her curse becomes her weapon.
Wow.
Driving her to eliminate those
harbingers of destruction. So it's a compelling twist on that familiar myth.
It is.
It raises a lot of questions, I think, for us.
Yeah.
About free will versus destiny.
Yeah.
And whether knowing the future justifies actions in the present.
Right. Like drastic action in the present. So our goal in this deep dive is to really try to understand what drives these extraordinary killers.
Yeah.
The unique burdens they carry and the unsettling choices they make as a result. So
so let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's pull back the curtain on Dorian Gray, Ageless Assassin.
All right.
So True Kill opens with with this unveiling of a portrait at an art gallery.
Okay.
What was the initial impact of this artwork?
The source material really paints a rich scene here.
Okay.
The gallery is just buzzing with this admiration for the depiction of this young man. And he's flawless, almost unnervingly beautiful.
There's a sense of immediate captivation. You can actually hear the audible reactions from those present.
But for Dorian himself, it wasn't this moment of pride, was it?
No.
The text mentions this creeping coldness he experiences.
Right.
Why do you think he had such a negative reaction to this seemingly perfect image of himself?
Well, because he knows. The illusion, the portrait that's being celebrated is a carefully constructed lie, the real testament to his life.
Yeah.
The one that's truly aging and becoming grotesque with each life he takes is locked away, hidden from the world.
It's hidden. So all of this public adoration of this false image, it must have been just a constant chilling reminder of his profound deception.
It's deception on a huge scale.
Yeah.
And that's
the crux of his dark bargain, isn't it? He remains
eternally young.
Eternally young, while this other portrait deteriorates in secret.
Yeah.
And that's the terrible price.
It is a terrible price.
Although True Kill doesn't spell out the exact nature of this deal.
No. And that makes it even more unsettling in a way.
Yeah, it does.
That ambiguity, we just see these horrifying consequences played out on canvas.
On the canvas.
Yeah.
That hidden portrait becomes this gruesome tally of his sins. This visual representation of his decaying soul.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
What deals people make. Maybe not so overtly supernatural.
Right.
But in pursuit of their desires.
What would you give up?
Yeah.
For what?
What would you give up?
So how does this eternal youth play into his life as an assassin?
Right.
It's more.
It's gotta be.
Than just about staying handsome.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's much more than that.
Yeah.
It's much more than that. His unchanging youthful appearance becomes his most potent weapon, I think.
Yeah.
It allows him to seamlessly infiltrate
the
lives of his targets.
Yeah.
Gain their trust as a lover, as a protege, or even just seemingly harmless acquaintance.
Right.
You know, people are often disarmed by youth, beauty. They rarely suspect the darkness that can lurk beneath a flawless surface.
A flawless surface. And that highlights for you how appearances can be so incredibly
deceptive.
And True Kill gives some really disturbing examples of this. Using his ageless charm to steal vital information.
Okay.
To sow discord. And betrayal.
Yeah.
It's like his
extended lifespan provides the perfect stage for long-term manipulation.
Right. As the book says, death follows him masked by his eternally youthful face.
Exactly. Yeah. He can play the long game, embedding himself in positions of power, intimacy, waiting for that opportune moment to strike.
Yeah.
And his target is most vulnerable.
When they least expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his immortality removes those usual constraints of time and suspicion that would plague other assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do?
It's a good question.
With that kind of advantage.
Yeah.
Even if ill-gotten.
Yeah. So much opportunity.
Right.
And then this evolving portrait.
Right.
It's this powerful, disturbing image of his inner corruption.
Right.
Each kill, each sin adds
a new layer of disfigurement.
It's a new layer.
Yeah.
Maybe a clawed hand, a sneering expression.
Yeah.
It's as if the canvas is
like the canvas is
physically embodying the monster he's becoming.
Yeah.
Inside. Yeah. It's
it's a visceral metaphor for the unseen consequences of our actions. Yeah. So while Dorian's outward beauty remains pristine, his soul, reflected in that portrait, bears the full weight of his transgressions. Yeah.
And it forces you to consider
it
what truly defines a person.
Yeah.
Is it the external presentation?
Right.
Or is it the internal moral landscape?
Yeah. And in this particular instance, in True Kill, his target is Lady Somerset. Described as a glittering jewel hiding a treasonous heart.
Wow. Okay.
And his method of operation is classic.
Classic Dorian.
Dorian, isn't it? Yeah. He ingratiates himself with her foppish son, Jane Access.
Right.
And then he plans to use a poison drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's his
MO.
Established pattern, it seems. Identify a vulnerability.
Okay.
In this case, the mother's vanity and the son's naivete.
Right.
Exploit it.
Yeah.
You're close.
Yeah.
And deliver the lethal blow.
Right.
His youthful allure and charm.
It's the key.
Are the keys. That unlock these deadly opportunities. But then a really interesting moment occurs. Dorian hesitates.
Oh.
And he sees a reflection of his own monstrous bargain in Lady Somerset's vanity and grasping nature.
Yeah.
How significant do you think this moment of hesitation is?
I think it suggests that even someone as deeply compromised as Dorian still possesses a flicker of self-awareness, a recognition, however fleeting, of the destructive path he's on. Like seeing his own flaws mirrored in his target, I think it momentarily forces him to confront the true horror of his existence. And of course, the ever-present threat of the portrait and the anticipation of its next grotesque transformation. It has to weigh heavily on his mind.
Yeah, it does. And instead of reaching for the poison, he reaches for a silver-framed photograph of Lady Somerset's innocent-looking son. And this triggers, as Truekill describes it, a lost part.
A lost part of himself.
Now, what do you make of that?
It's poignant, isn't it? It's this moment of unexpected empathy. And the child's innocence serves as this stark, painful contrast to the corruption that surrounds Dorian, that he himself embodies. And it's just a sudden reminder of a life he could have lived, a path not taken, perhaps even a faint echo of his own lost innocence before the bargain.
Have you ever had
a moment
where just a simple image brought back just this rush of forgotten feelings? Yeah, I think so. But ultimately, he abandons the mission.
He does.
But Truekill makes it clear that this choice isn't driven by...
Not by a moral awakening.
A sudden moral awakening.
I know.
But rather by self-preservation. Because killing Lady Somerset would be the final... ruinous stroke on his hidden portrait. So it's a selfish decision masked in something that resembles restraint.
His primary motivation is still the preservation of his youthful facade.
I mean, adding another layer of horrific disfigurement to that portrait would bring him so dangerously close to eventually unmasking his secret. And that's his ultimate fear?
And that's the one thing he cannot happen. And then Truekill describes his youth as a gilded
cage. His handsome face is a
mask.
Concealing inner decay. And this desperation leads him
to commission a second portrait.
A depiction of an eternally old man wearing
his Dorian Gray face.
As this brittle mask revealing his corrupt soul. This is so fascinating. What do you think was his motivation?
What do you think?
Behind this second portrait?
I think it's it seems to be a manifestation of his internal conflict. This desperate attempt to externalize the aging and decay that first portrait secretly bears. So maybe it's a way for him to try and confront, maybe even gain some control over the monstrous reality of his existence by creating
a visual representation of his inner corruption. Albeit one still veiled by his youthful appearance. It's a twisted form of self-awareness. Almost like he's trying to outsmart his own curse.
So he's got these two portraits confronting each other. One cursed by eternal youth. The other by the exposed
burden of ageless sin.
What do you think?
What was he trying to achieve by bringing these two images together?
I
don't know. Perhaps he was seeking some form of understanding, a way to reconcile the beautiful lie with the hideous truth. Or maybe it was a final desperate attempt to exert some kind of power over the curse that governed his life. It's this
moment of intense internal struggle made visible through these two canvases.
What would you do?
What would you do?
If you were confronted with with the literal representation of your best and worst self.
Of your best and worst self.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then comes Dorian's final act.
Okay.
In this part of True Kill.
Yeah.
Destroying the original monstrous portrait in the hearth.
In the hearth. Wow.
And your canvas screams as it burns.
Okay.
Symbolizes
the release of the monstrous
of this monstrous pact.
Yeah.
What's the significance of this destructive act?
Of this? Well, I think it's his desperate attempt to break free from the suffocating burden of his sins.
Yeah.
To erase the physical embodiment of his moral corruption. The screaming of the canvas, I think, suggests that the connection between Dorian and the portrait is it's profound.
Yeah.
Almost supernaturally intertwined.
Yeah.
It's as if destroying the image is an attempt to destroy
the consequences themselves.
The consequences themselves.
Yeah.
And the immediate consequence is dramatic.
Wow.
Dorian collapses. His youthful face suddenly shows the weight of all the years.
All those years.
He cheated. And he transforms into
this withered
ancient figure.
Yeah, it's like the destruction of the portrait forces his body to finally catch up with the reality it's been denying for so long.
It's been denying for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's severed.
Yeah.
The magical link is severed. That illusion of eternal youth, it shatters.
Yeah.
And the true accumulated toll of his actions is finally revealed in his physical form.
In his physical form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a stark reminder that no one can escape the consequences of their choices. No matter how cleverly they try to conceal
them.
Yeah.
And in the aftermath, his body is found. Aged beyond. Beyond comprehension. The only remaining clue is the second portrait.
Oh, wow.
The once untouched face of Dorian Gray, now warped and monstrous.
Right.
What's the ultimate message?
The ultimate message.
Here for you.
I think it's that the inner corruption, the true ugliness of his soul, it couldn't be masked or destroyed. Even his attempt to confront it through the second portrait
ultimately succumbed to the overwhelming weight of his sins. I mean, the curse, while seemingly tied to the first portrait, it was fundamentally about the state of his soul, which remained irrevocably tainted.
It's a chilling tale.
It's a chilling tale indeed.
A literal haunting by one's own moral failings.
Moral failings.
Now let's turn our attention